Hello, 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 Jessica here. So you might be here because you are feeling judged or being a little judgmental. We will look at how we can flip those judgments around so we can be more of who we are. Let's dive in, or as I like to say, let's get shucking. There are so many benefits to working through your judgments and letting them go. Your self-esteem and self-trust will probably grow. You really will step out of your shell and connect more with other people, take bigger risks, and you live the life you really, really want to be living. Think about judgments as a shell. They keep us locked up. Some people may not even want to go outside because of the fear of being judged. It's hard being judged by other people. But just as you know your judgments are for you, their judgments are for them. And that makes it less personal. And when you can understand that, oh man, it changes everything. It will shift your relationships because when you see that people are in a place of judgment, you can actually lean in and ask them, what's going on? How might I be able to help you? I notice you're sensitive about this. Can we talk about that? And I want you to have that secret in your back pocket always. Liberating yourself from judgments makes you lighter and it makes you brighter. And when you're shining more, the whole world is sparkly too. Judgments, they are everywhere. And I want to share a story with you about a very profound experience I had with judgments. It was a work trip I had in Jhansi, India. I was there to write a story about this community and how they may move out of poverty with technology. And when I arrived, I met this woman who had just walked a half mile with water on her head because she had no running water. I felt so bad for her. I thought, what a hard life to be carrying water to your own home and not have all the luxuries that I get living in San Diego. Literally, my heart was in my stomach because I felt so awful about the discrepancies. And then my entire world changed. The interpreter started to tell me how bad she felt for me. Yep. You might be wondering why. When we were talking, she asked me a lot of questions about my family and my children and being married and what life was like living in San Diego. I didn't have a family or children, and that's what she thought was absolutely the saddest thing in the world she could ever think of. She was pitying me. I couldn't even believe it. Here I thought she had a hard life, and here she thought I had an awful life, but really we were both living a life that we were meant to live and so grateful for. This experience changed my whole world around judgments. It helped me slow down and see where I was making assumptions about people. I didn't need to make a situation right or wrong or good or bad. And what I noticed is that doing that actually separated me from her. It built a wall almost between us, put me on a pedestal, thinking I was somehow superior to her and she was maybe somehow inferior to me. None of that's actually true. When we can see the world beyond our judgments, everything gets so much brighter and lighter. And this is what I want to help you do too. Let's get started talking about what a judgment actually is. What is a judgment? It is making something or someone right or wrong based on a belief system. Our belief systems have been created by lessons learned and adopted from our parents, from society, from TV, from a mentor, from you name it. By adopting these belief systems and filtering life through these belief systems, we then have a tendency to make things right or wrong. That just doesn't have to be true. What if nothing is right or wrong? What if it just is? And here's the super cool thing about our belief systems. We learned them. And what that means is we can unlearn them too. So when we can identify what our judgments are, identify the belief system that created that division, that damaging story, then we can actually take the time to update that belief, or maybe drop that story entirely. Imagine a world where we didn't have any stories about anyone, that we just got to love them for who they were in that moment. Now we are going to move into the idea of what to do with the judgment when we identify it. So here's something that might be a little bit surprising. When you are judging someone or something, you are actually seeing a reflection of yourself. Take that in for a moment. When you judge someone or something, it is actually a reflection for you to know yourself better. This is actually good news because that means there's something you can do about it. When you find yourself judging someone or something, that is your clue that there's something inside of you that needs love and attention. You may not agree with what that person's doing. That's different. That's preference, that's discernment, that's an opinion. But if it's a judgment, that's when there's actually an opportunity for you. One way that I know it's actually a judgment is if I get fired up or upset or anxious or angry or you name it. That's my indicator when I am activated, and sometimes it's called triggered. If I am in that state, then I know it's actually something for me to learn. Sure, they might have something to learn too, and they may be open to it or they may not. That's not your problem. Your responsibility is looking within and seeing what that judgment is telling you about yourself. By working on our judgments, we are liberating ourselves from that unnecessary burden, that extra weight. We are breaking down barriers with people we love and sometimes with strangers that we don't know to love yet. This does not mean you condone their behavior. You can still talk to them about the situation. You can still make boundaries. All of that's absolutely okay. It's the judgment I really want you to work through. And that's really so you can know yourself better and live more freely the life you are meant to live. You may be wondering if you're just supposed to walk through this world like a zombie and not have any thoughts or feelings. That is not what we're talking about. It is absolutely okay to have an observation and to see the world in all of its ways. The key is when we do it through observation, that comes with a neutral feeling. That is just seeing the world the way it is. There is no work for you to do when you're just seeing from that place, when you're making an observation. It's really when we make somebody right or wrong that the opportunity to do some more healing, to really reveal what we need to change in our world. That's what we're talking about here. So definitely live in this world, have your preferences, think your thoughts, express yourself. I absolutely support that. If it comes from a neutral place, wonderful. There's no healing needed. But if you're activated or triggered, then it might not be an observation. It might be a judgment. And that's where you need to take the responsibility and make some changes in your life. Now that you have all the background about what judgments are, what discernment is, how this can help you in your life, I want to offer you some tools to work through some of your judgments and let them go so you truly can be liberated. It starts with identifying what the judgment is. Start paying attention to what you're judging, when you're judging others and yourself. You can start tracking them in a journal, take note of them. And then what I want you to do is reframe that judgment. And what I mean by that is flip it upside down into something that is more supportive or even more universally loving. Here's an example. If I judge myself as lazy, that comes with a weight, a heaviness that can be disempowering and maybe even damaging. It will really affect my self-esteem and my confidence. And then that has a whole ton of ripple effects. If I reframe it as saying something to the effect of, today I am just going to take some time to rest. My body is really asking me to slow down and I'm going to listen. That is so different than being lazy. By actually honoring that I want to take some time to rest and to listen to what I need, that is so empowering. And then I feel better. And that has a ripple effect as well. That goes through all parts of my life, my conversations, my relationships, my smile to strangers. And so this is why we do the work. When we can identify the judgment and then flip it around, we often see ourselves more clearly. And listen, we're all really, really magnificent, including you. So if this sounds tricky or hard to do, I actually have a worksheet. It's free. All you have to do is go to my link. It walks you through this whole process step by step. It even gives you an example to help you work through what a judgment would look like if you flip it upside down. I'm also here for you. If this is new to you, it can be scary, it can feel hard, it can maybe even be intimidating. And I want to make sure that that's not the case. So fire me questions. I want to help you. I know how much this has changed my life and I want it to do that for you too. So please, please, please let me know if I can clarify anything or help you in any way. But I hope that you at least try it, experiment, see if it works for you, and let me know how that goes.